calm down. What's going on, guys? So today on this SHOKY GUNPLA review, we're going to be taking a look at something that's taken me way too long to get to. One, because it's been in my backlog, two, it's just taken me this long to build, and it is the HG Gundam, the origin, RX-78-2 Gundam, EFF prototype model soup, all the things. This was, of course, back in 2020, and this was planned to be a part of my multi-level reviews of different types of RX-78s. It still is, it's just not going as fast as I thought. Life gets in the way, and you get other cool robots. It happens, right? Right. Either way, so really nice artwork here. All the nice CG kind of works. CG shell shaded kind of cool stuff happening. And you got exploding stuff going here. I wonder if a robographer did this. I'm just taking a guess. I have no way to know if that is or is not true, but I'm just saying. So you got the cool explosion down here. You have something Gundam shaped here, roughly, vaguely. This is its early type mode, so you can build two, and only two. There's no other possibilities. Versions of this Gundam with the kit, and you know, it is what it is. Of course, you got the Bandai Spirits logo down here, Gundam Origin logo up there. And if we come to the bottom, whoa, where's your focus at? There we go. We got obligatory rear and front shot, and of course you have the early type and middle type. Don't know what that means, but hey, that's the thing. And then you come here and you got a whole read up on all of that mess. You even got an Amuro raid there. Read it at your own leisure. You can pause and do the thing. I'll just sit here and okay. And then you got Gundam Rising, Gundam the Origin. This is part of the not actual part of the Origin series thing where the Gundam actually gets up and you get all this kind of stuff here. YouTube link. Actually, that's interesting. They put the YouTube link there. Okay, we come around this side and we got number 26 in the line, BandaiHobby.net. And repeat of the box art. Looks all pretty and stuff. And around here you've got all the weapons and stuff. You got Hyper Bazooka, Shoulder Cannon, and Beamer Rifle. And that's the middle type, but you also get a normal. Oh yeah, you get an early type there. Yes, it's right there. Body unit, you got early type, middle type markings. Yep, and then gimmicks. It moves. Arrows appear as you stand there. It's pretty cool. And you got, hey, keep 3-year-olds away from your Origin Gundam. They might end up the pilot of it. And then you got a little guy with a toilet. No yen cost, but at Bedrock City this costs $25.99. You can tell I bought this at the same time I got the other one. Look at this focus. It doesn't know what to do. I'm totally messing my camera. Anyway, so there we go. We got a new Gundam, a new normal Gundam, 2 new Gundam. But anyway, let's go get to it. And there's no build montage. Sorry, but there will be building involved in this review. Sort of. Let's go. Alright guys, so before we look at the full Gundam by itself, I wanted to show this off. So this is the Gundam, I believe this is the early type chest, and the reason I'm showing it off this way is because I wanted to do a whole swapping gimmick where I transform it from one mode to the other, and I could do that for everything else involved, but the chest would not come apart. So basically I pulled the vents and the neck bit off and the weapons and such. So this one, the only actual difference is the difference between this little bit here and this. So between this and the middle type, it just kind of smooths that out a little bit. But you get the gimmick here of whatever the heck these technically are. And then you get this little set here. And I'll show off what that does later on the actual Gundam shelf. Although I just realized, do I have something a little bit weird? I don't know. I'll have to look at it whenever I get to it. But either way, so that's a pretty good thing. You can see the Gundam back there. He's kind of headless and whatnot. So I gotta go put that together so we can look at the early type. So hold on. Alright guys, so this is where I normally have turntable time, but my turntable is covered in stuff, so can't do that. So this is basically my equivalent to the early type Gundam. And yeah, he looks pretty cool. He's definitely an RX-78. What? I gotta figure out what my focus does. It's like super centered. So something about this new camera I have not figured out yet is how the focus 100% works. Okay, so I'll lock that there. Okay, so the main differential between the early type and the middle type is these shoulder equipments here. So whatever the heck that is changes out later. This is a hidden gun. Yep. It's like pulling close. And then the shoulders also change up, and then the wrists will also change. And I think also the shield holding position might be a thing that changes. I'm not entirely certain. But for some reason, this version of the Gundam totally holds the shield upside down. The other major difference is this big old shoulder cannon that you have to be super careful about, because it absolutely will hit the V-fin and also pull off. That is something that you recognize if you built the MG origin version, which I still have not done, but I wouldn't mind doing. So yeah, and then of course he only has the one beam saber going on back here. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I think I'm going to go ahead and convert him to the middle type, which I think is probably my more favorite of the two, because it kind of eliminates some of the things that are more annoying. And then I'll go over articulation and all the stuff like that. But for the most part, that's just how it is. There's not a ton of new stuff involved with this Gundam. If you've built any of the other Origin RX-78s, RX-79s, you know, the ground type, stuff like that, it's actually pretty similar to a lot of those things. I think they actually use a lot of the same base runners. The only difference is it's very focused on being this Gundam. Like, I think if you built the local type, there's a whole lot of similarities here. So I'll go over those kind of things here in a bit after I convert him to the more middle type, which I don't even know exactly what that means, but I'm gonna do it. So I might set up a time lapse just for that, because it'll take me a few minutes. Okay, so there we go. Now he's up to the middle type. Now the main changes that happen here is the shoulders gain these handle thingies that are very much like the local types. As you can see what I'm talking about? Like, I get close and then it doesn't seem to know how to focus on things. So it's super blurry. I gotta wonder if that's just the way I'm shooting. Hold on, I gotta do the thing. Okay, I don't know if that really changed anything, but either way, it's driving me nuts because I can see the blurry edges and I don't know how to do anything about that. So, the other thing is you gain these little thingies here. Now, you could always put these little Gatling machine guns here, which is very similar to the Wing Gundam, if I'm honest. Like, Wing Zero, I believe, had those in the kind of shoulder areas, like pauldron type things. And all these are, it's pretty interesting if you watch the thing. They slide in and out there, and then you can slide the cover off and on. So that's just, it's kind of unnerving sometimes. Also, I want to point something out. This head is super loose. It is a bobblehead. I don't know what's going on. It's the way the ball joint hits down below. something about it, I don't know. Maybe I'm just always meant to stay way the hell out here and not look at close details. Maybe that's my problem. With the shield, I did reorient it towards upright because it just makes the most amount of sense, and you can slide it up and down. Just be wary that the way it connects, you're going to end up with different problems depending on how you do it. And it is connected to the back of the forearm back here. I'm going to pull the hand out because I'm going to just kind of ignore that hand for the time being. So it connects back here by that. It's pretty much an older type mechanism, but you do get the hinge for the handle, which is always a good thing. Old school hands that I'm just tired of their existence for the most part. And of course, if you want to, you can do the thing. Do the thing with the thing. Like I said, just be careful because the way it connects, you could lose it. So just like that, that's the way that comes apart, and it's annoying. So set that aside. I want to point out a couple more differences here. So one thing about the early type is that it has these wrist-mounted Gatling guns or machine guns that are right here. I left them in there on this side. So for the most part, it's only on the left side. But whenever you go up to the middle type, you gain the same type of wrist, but realistically, you're not supposed to have the guns. Hold on, I gotta pull them out of there. So I left those in there just to show them off, but it's not actually supposed to stay in there. So for whatever reason, you don't keep them. Now you can either leave that one in there just permanently or just take it out, but it gains this kind of wrist cover on this side. Now I'm going to swap out for a different hand. Give me a second. I'm trying to keep them balanced because I want to show off weaponry. And you do get a left and right trigger finger, which is always good when they give you one for each hand, because that means you can hold weapons in either hand. And the one good thing about this one is that the handles have tabs in them, and there is a slot on the inside of the hand, and I think a slight corresponding slot on the opposite side to help really hold on to guns, at least. There we go. It's not 100% lined up, but it is what it is. So really what I wanted to show off here was the early type beam rifle, because it's pretty cool. Look at that. I digs that. It's a lot thicker, a lot more going on. You do have the movable scope thingy. You do have a nice green metallic sticker that I'm trying to catch the light. There we go. And then you also get the handle that will come out of that side. So if you're holding it in the right hand, and you got stickers galore. Now the reason I showed that off is because you also get the middle type, which is the one that we all know and love. So you see how the technology sort of evolves. Which is weird because you'd think that the bigger one would be the better one, but no. This is the older type, and this is the newer one. And both of them have weapon storage. So I'm going to pull that off, and you have a round peg that sticks out the back. I think technically you could have this one go either way if you want, and you can store right there on the butt, or up here on the backpack, or both, if you're so inclined. You're one of those weirdos. Okay. You do also get a big-ass bazooka. That's the proper term for it. And this is actually pretty good for what it is. I mean, how many times have we seen this bazooka, It goes together well. The stickers are somewhat well done. Not well placed, but well done. Because, and then the handle back here does move. I like the fact that that is at least color separated. I missed a nub right there. And you do get a crappy yellow sticker to go in the scope. And you do get the little clamp dealy that you can either clip on to the side and like stick on the butt, like so. You can do that number, or you can go for a different situation and plug it on the back like that. Then go for that one. If you just got all the weapons, so let's just say he has the wrist-mounted machine guns, we can give him his big old cannon on both sides, and now he's just ready for a big old fight. He's just all armed to the TTs. One of the other changes is you lose the shoulder cannon for the other beam saber. Beam sabers are literally about as pathetic as they ever get. Like right there. And you get matching blades. And they are also very long. I mean, handle and all, it's as tall as the Gundam itself. That might be a little bit much, but, you know, it is what it is. You also get cradling hands. You get expressive hands, which is always a good thing, right? That's my microphone. I feel like it's just like trapped in a weird spot. So you get both hands. That's always a good thing. So let's lose that hand, and we'll give him this one just for the heck of it. There we go. All right, so let's talk articulation and stuff. The head is on a ball joint here, on a hinge on another ball joint. The hinge is good. The bottom ball joint, as previously stated, while it gives you a nice, you know, setback for the head, is like super loose, as previously stated. No idea why. I did clean off the safety nubs. The head is good. You do get separation for the yellow little Vulcans there. I'll zoom in. And you get the eye stickers, which are fine. Get all the other little stickers, as accompanied by almost any Origin kit where you have to go nuts in putting the stickers on. Including little camera stickers. Also be wary, the V-fin will likely pop off at some point in your life. Okay, so for the shoulders, you get some interesting engineering. So you get the normal butterfly out, but I believe if you try hard enough, you get a nice hinge upward. So that's pretty good. And then if you combine that with the bicep rotation and your elbow, you can get a high teacher. It's actually, all the joints are actually really stiff, which is pretty good, considering it does have polycaps inside there. So high teacher, feels like we haven't done a high teacher in quite some time. But you can see here, you can get out almost to 90. It stops just due to the little thrusters in the shoulder pads. You can go all the way around. And you have a double jointed elbow, which is more than you need to get an absolutely absurd arm bend. And of course, there's your arm plug for shield and whatnot. One thing that is stupid about this, you get stickers for the joint covers, so make sure you put those on there. And if you want to know something funny, if you go back to, or if you go to another review, these little plastic dealies here are from a Fit 2 Toys Beast Box thingy. I actually use those to kind of squish that in there and round off the edges, because the actual things in there are big and rounded, so you just got to have that. So yay for that. And normal ball joint mounted wrist that will probably get loose over time just due to wear and tear. You get rotation, and then you also get ridiculous ab crunch, like so. It kind of went a little, yeah, it's a bit much, and it goes a little bit quick for an ab crunch, but it's there. I mean, you can get a reasonable ab crunch out of it, so you don't have to go nuts. And that also affords you a little bit of teapot side-to-side tiltage. And coming down to the side skirts, you have normal everyday side skirts that don't go up very far. Front skirts, which are all flippy-floppy. You get standard kind of hip joints, but you do get the rock forward, so you can get that kind of motion. So that's fine. Let's see, we can get, how good of a Jean-Claude. I realized the mic wasn't pointing at me. You know, it helps if you actually have the microphone attached to you when you're talking. So we get a Jean-Claude, which is fine. Get a decent chorus line, but it gets hung up on the side skirt, so only about out to there. And then double jointed knee, which is about as good as you're going to get. Also very nice cover down, nice vent, all this stuff like that. All the little bells and whistles according to the stickers. Like, hey, there's some stuff. There's even the cockpit door sticker. I didn't show it off, but it's totally in there. And then down to the ankles. I don't believe we have anything special happening down here, except for the fact you do get the ever so great toe tip, which is fun when you don't want it to actually fall. You get a heck of an ankle rocker combined with just the ball joint that everybody's mounted to, and then a ball joint mounted ankle guard, which is fine for what it is. And, you know, as it goes, it's a good looking version of the Grandpa. And of course, like I said, you can choose which one you want to go with or mix and match. You can have one of these shoulders mixed with the other type shoulders. If you're down for that kind of thing, you can mix and match your arm weapons, you know, your forearm or wrist guards, however you want to do that. I hate posing bazookas, so I'm not going to give him the bazooka to hold on to. So sorry about everybody who cares about that, but it can hold the bazooka, and this thing does pivot in and out, and it pegs into the hand just like the guns did. Be super happy about that, okay? Okay. I do wish that the shield had a more substantial way to connect because of how this connects. So you got two that sort of clip in and slide, and then two that go in this track. But the thing is that if you only want the shield to be this far, then that's about as good as you're going to get. You know, you can attach it a multitude of ways. You can attach it this way, but for the most part, it's meant for this to be rotated and then just forearm mounted. So you can do what you need to with the shield, but just be wary that if you have it at one end or the other, it will just kind of fall off to some degree. It is on a little bit of a, I don't know how to say it, so that's actually textured in there so that it is sort of gripping as it goes. But there's a much more classic version of the RX-78 that we are absolutely used to. So let's just do the thing now that we've all been wanting to see. So let's bring in the Revive Grandpa, and so we can see a difference here. And, you know, it's a pretty significant difference. I mean, even a height difference along with, you know, details. The slightly bolder shoulders here, more squared off deals there. But, I mean, some of that is just down to the origin designs where it's a lot more line work, a little bit more refined things. And a Revive was never meant to be a total thing. By the way, that is the crotch sticker right there, the little yellow guy. Super annoying. Okay, so balance yourself out here, Gramps. And then we will bring in the one from last time, the Beyond Global, who is a much skinnier version with a lot of different details, less line work. So it's really interesting to see how these three line up. So it's almost like it's an evolution, like no line work, super simple designs, a little bit more line work, a bit more complicated design, not to mention color change, and then a lot of line work, bulkier and stuff like that. So it's very interesting to see how different a lot of these things are. But what's really funny about this, so the Beyond Global just has a peg sticking out of the gun. This one has movable pegs to actuate how it's going to stick into the thing. You know, it's funny that there's certain things about each one that really do, you know, highlight the differences in technology. Now, if I remember correctly, the Origin one came out before Beyond Global. They're really close to each other, so maybe I'm wrong about that. I do love how the Beyond Global shield holds because he does have that handle. And somebody also showed me or mentioned that it allowed you to actually hold the shield the way that Amuro did in the first episode or something like that, where he held it out like vertically, like the shield was upright, but his arm was out. So apparently that's the only shield that allows you to do that. That's actually pretty cool. But there's such a major design shift between the Beyond Global and this guy. Like, considering these came out the same year, it's just such a major design shift. The engineering, very different in how they're built, things like that. Obviously nothing. Let's put it this way. This one is closer to this one on engineering than it is to this one, which is crazy. And I already put away all of the rest of my Origins stuff, so I can't compare to some of the local types and stuff like that, which is probably much closer in, engineering to this guy. And I'm sure there's somebody in the comments who's going to break down every single little difference and stuff like that. And I'm going to be honest, I don't care that much. I'm here to show off the differences and talk about the difference of experience. Now, one thing that is very different in the design aspect, this guy and this guy both push the yellow piece for the chest vents through the blue part. This one plugs in from the front, so they're much more prominent. The differences in the skirt parts here, so I believe these push through the front skirt. That plugs into the front skirt. There's a whole lot of different things, not to mention the articulation on this one is absurd compared to this one. The extra shoulder advantage, the flexible wrist, the forearm rotation, things like that are significantly better than this guy. I do wish this came in the proper colors. I also really do kind of want to get some of the alternate versions of him. I guess, did he not? Either he didn't come with a bazooka or I just don't have him out with one. I don't know. Offhand, I don't even know. I think I tossed the box, which means I have the parts laying somewhere. I'm not sure offhand. But compared to the revive that we did, I guess, sometime last year, maybe the year before, I don't really remember. Very, very different evolution of things. Now, I still have the G40, which is a radical redesign. So that will also be in this list, as it were. And at least one more Gundam the Origin MSD RX-78 to go over. So that's going to be a thing in and of itself to show off. But as it goes, like, this Origin version is really cool. I don't think it was necessary to include the parts that, to swap it over from the different types, so to speak. I would have been fine with just one or the other. Or if you gave us one and then later you gave us the other as a separate kit, I would have been fine with that, because I'm annoyed by the fact that I now have to keep up with a bunch of spare parts. For those who don't know, I'm very annoyed by having tons of spare parts. It is what it is. The stickers do come across good, except for all of the little guys are all the same square edges, so whenever you have to line them up where you got to go, you have to trim off the edges, or then it just gets crappy. I will say I prefer the early type gun. I think this is cool. One thing I kind of touched on but didn't really go over, the shoulder gun, while cool and with its somewhat double hingedness, doesn't stay in. Doesn't stay in worth a damn. It comes out as soon as you turn it. It falls off the backpack. So that part kind of sucks. Oh, I didn't really talk about the backpack, but the thrusters are on ball joints, so you can move those if you're one of those people who cares about that. So that's always good, right? Right? You guys like thrusters that move. I know you do. So well, that's going to be it for this Gundam the Origin review with the Grandpa Gundam in its multiple forms. You haven't even seen my final form. We've seen it, Grandpa. It's fine. It's fine. So he's pretty good. He is posable, all those kind of things, and it's interesting to see the differential between the many different designs of the Grandpa we've gotten over the years, at least that I have. So, but guys, let me know what you think down below, and of course, like, subscribe, do all the things. Go check out all the other channels. Check out Patreon if you want to see the behind-the-scenes kind of stuff. And of course, you guys did get to pick the next build, which is going to be the MG Zeta Verka. Joy, or double Zeta Verka, sorry. I said Zeta. I'm a dummy. And so I'll be starting on that as soon as I get all these other reviews caught up. And make sure you go check out the other kind of reviews and Transformers and all those other things that are going on this channel. And eventually I'll get the Nerf gun finished. I'm at the last couple details and I've just been catching up and haven't gotten there. So I'll see you guys next time. Remember, as always, keep on building.